You weigh 8 grams. You have a wingspan of 11 inches, a heart rate of 1,260 beats per minute during flight, and a face that looks like someone crumpled up a very small leather wallet and gave it ears. You are a 2-year-old little brown bat, Myotis lucifugus. And you are hanging upside down from a rafter in the attic of a colonial-style house in Brattleboro, Vermont, in a colony of 87 other bats who are also hanging upside down from rafters, producing a collective smell that the homeowner has described to 3 separate pest control companies as a mixture of ammonia and mold. The homeowner is a 49-year-old high school principal named Tom. Tom has lived here for 12 years. Your colony has lived here for 30, longer than Tom, longer than his mortgage, longer than his marriage, which lasted 9 years and is not discussed. Tom does not feed you. Tom would very much like you to leave. He has called pest control twice, $4,500, then $3,800, and bought a $12 ultrasonic deterrent. It has a 2.3-star rating. It does not work. You roost 3 inches from it. Every dusk, you drop from the rafter, unfurl your wings, and exit through a soffit gap. Tom has caulked shut 4 times. You eat 1,200 insects per hour, half your body mass per night. You are a 4-gram insecticide with a heartbeat, protecting Tom's yard from mosquitoes more effectively than anything his tax dollars have ever funded. Tom does not know this. Tom knows about the smell. On a Monday, 6:14 a.m., October 7th, Tom does not leave for work. Every human on Earth, gone. The house goes quiet. You do not notice. You are asleep. The disappearance of humanity happens during your off hours, which is the most bat thing that could possibly happen. Dusk. Day 1. You drop, exit, eat 1,200 insects, return. Identical to every night of your life. Humanity's extinction has affected your schedule by 0 minutes. Day 14. October in Vermont. The unheated house is cooling. Your colony begins clustering tighter for thermal regulation. By November, you've relocated to an abandoned mine shaft 14 miles north, entering torpor, heart rate dropping from 1,260 BPM to 20, surviving 5 months on grams of stored fat. Bats hibernated in caves for 50 million years before houses existed. The attic was a convenience. The caves are still there. Tom's ultrasonic deterrent is still plugged in. The bats are 14 miles away, dreaming about mosquitoes. Bats are not weird mammals. They are normal mammals. 1 in 5 mammal species is a bat. Over 1,400 species. Every continent except Antarctica. They are the only mammals capable of powered flight, and they've been flying for 52 million years longer than whales have been swimming. Without humans, no fumigated attics, no wind turbines killing 600,000 bats per year, and no spread of white nose syndrome, the fungal disease introduced by European cavers that killed over 90% of some populations since 2006. Without human vectors, the disease is confined to existing caves. Resistant survivors are repopulating. Tom's $4,500 pest control quote is no longer relevant. Neither is Tom. The first decade is a feast. Without pesticides, a $16 billion industry that suppressed insect populations across every agricultural landscape in America, arthropod biomass surges. More insects means more food. More food means more bats. The nightly caloric buffet has gone from all you can eat to all you can eat and then some. Bat populations across North America double, then triple. Colonies that numbered in the hundreds now number in the thousands. The acoustic landscape of a summer night, already thick with echolocation clicks in the ultrasonic range, becomes a wall of biological sonar, so dense that bats are evolving frequency differentiation to avoid jamming each other's signals. Each colony develops a slightly different echolocation frequency band, acoustic niche partitioning. You're literally evolving different radio channels to stay out of each other's way. By year 10, insectivorous bats are the dominant nocturnal predator in every terrestrial ecosystem in North America. A century, and bats are doing what successful lineages always do when food is abundant and niches are open. They're splitting. The little brown bat lineage is diverging along a size axis. In the insect-rich forests of the East, individuals are trending smaller, 5 grams, hypermaneuverable, specialized for catching tiny midges and mosquitoes in dense understory. Smaller body, faster turns, higher wing-loading agility. In the open grasslands, a larger form, 15 grams, broader wings, built for sustained hawking flight across open terrain, catching beetles and moths on the wing at speed. longer, narrower wings, high aspect ratio, like a swallow compared to a wren. 2 flight strategies, 2 body plans. 1 species, splitting. And in the South, where fruit bats never established in North America because the climate wasn't right, the climate is now right. Subtropical expansion is opening a niche that has been occupied by fruit bats on every other tropical continent. An insectivore lineage in the Florida peninsula is supplementing its diet with figs, berries, and nectar. Its teeth are flattening. Its echolocation is simplifying. You don't need sonar to find a mango. 1,000 years. And one lineage has done something unsettling. It's eating meat, not insects. Vertebrate meat. The false vampire bats of Central and South America, Vampirum spectrum, already do this. The largest bat in the Western Hemisphere with a 3-foot wingspan, hunting frogs, lizards, birds, rodents, and other bats. It is a violent apex predator. It exists right now. In the forests of the former southeastern United States, a descendant of the big brown bat, Eptisicus fuscus, has scaled up and followed the same path. Wingspan exceeding 20 inches, weight 40 grams, 5 times its ancestor. It hunts sleeping songbirds, plucking them from branches at night, using echolocation so refined it can detect the heartbeat of a roosting warbler from 6 feet away. A bat that hunts birds while they sleep, using sonar to find them by the sound of their own heartbeat. If that doesn't keep you up tonight, you aren't paying attention. 10,000 years. The frugivore lineage in subtropical North America has committed fully to fruit. Wingspan 2 feet, weight 200 grams. Large eyes, visual acuity has improved as echolocation has reduced because fruit doesn't move and doesn't need to be tracked by sonar. A broad, fox-like muzzle, hence the name flying fox used for Old World fruit bats. Long tongue for accessing nectar in deep flowers. It is a New World flying fox. Convergent with the pteropodids of Africa, Asia, and Australia, evolved independently from a completely different insectivore ancestor, arriving at the same body plan because the niche demands it. They roost in massive colonies. 10,000 individuals hanging from canopy trees in living chandeliers of fur and membrane. They are the primary seed dispersers and pollinators of the expanding subtropical forest. Without them, the forest would not exist in its current form. Without the forest, they would not exist. Mutualism, coevolution, a bat and its forest building each other. 100,000 years. Bat descendants have radiated into every nocturnal niche on the continent. The micro-insectivore, 3 grams, the smallest mammal in North America, hunting gnats in the spaces between leaves. The open country hawker, 50 grams, falcon-shaped, crossing prairies at 40 miles per hour, catching grasshoppers. The predator bat, 150 grams, silent flight feathers evolved from modified membrane texture, hunting rodents on the ground like a silent, furry owl. The frugivore lineage has produced a nectarivore with a tongue longer than its body, coiled inside its skull like a spring, deployed into flowers with the precision of a hummingbird. Convergent with the tube-lipped nectar bat of Ecuador, which already has this adaptation. Evolution recycles. And in the deep caves of the Appalachians, a lineage has abandoned flight entirely. A ground-dwelling, burrowing bat. Wings reduced to 4-limb stubs. Enlarged hind feet for digging, completely blind. It hunts cave invertebrates by echolocation clicks bounced off tunnel walls. A bat that walks. A bat that digs. A bat that has traded the sky for the underworld. 1 million years. Bats, already 1 in 5 mammal species, now account for 1 in 3. The predator lineage has produced an apex nocturnal hunter. 400 grams, meter-wide wingspan, taloned feet for snatching prey from the ground. It hunts rabbits. It hunts juvenile fox descendants. It has silent flight membrane surfaces textured with microscopic comblets that break up turbulent air, eliminating the sound of wing beats, convergent with owls. Doing the same job from a different starting point with different hardware. The frugivore has reached 500 grams and a 3-foot wingspan. It pollinates over 200 plant species. Entire forest ecosystems depend on its existence. Remove it, and the forest collapses within a generation. The burrowing lineage has gone fully subterranean. A mammalian mole, derived from a flying ancestor. Evolution built a flying mammal, then unbuilt the flight and repurposed the skeleton for digging. This is not inefficient. This is versatile. 10 million years. A warm night. A forest canopy so thick it blocks the stars. Somewhere in what was once New England. A sound, or rather, the absence of sound. A shape crosses the canopy gap. Wingspan, 4 feet. Weight, 1 kilogram. Silent. The membrane surface is a masterwork of acoustic engineering, microstructured to eliminate every whisper of turbulence. Not a single leaf stirs in its wake. It clicks. A burst of ultrasonic pulses, 93 kilohertz, inaudible to everything below except the target. The clicks paint a three-dimensional map of the forest floor in acoustic resolution finer than human vision. It can see the heat signature of a mouse's exhale. It can hear the footfall of a beetle. It folds, drops, 30 feet in 0.8 seconds, wings tucked, talons extended, the same elongated finger bones that once stretched a membrane across an 8-gram body hanging from a rafter in a colonial house in Brattleboro, Vermont. The mouse never hears it. The talons close. The wings open, one massive, silent stroke, and the shape rises back into the canopy with its prey. Somewhere below, in a cave that was once a mine shaft, where 87 little brown bats hibernated through winters they never needed to understand, a colony of ground bats, blind, flightless, digging, tends a fungal garden in the dark. They navigate by echolocation so quiet, it's nearly telepathic. They have never seen the sky. They don't need to. The underworld is theirs. And in the canopy, a fruit bat, half a kilogram, fox-faced, enormous eyes catching the moonlight, buries its face in a flower that only opens at night, that only exists because this bat exists, that will seed a tree, that will grow for 300 years and house 10,000 other organisms. None of them remember Tom. None of them remember the attic, or the smell, or the $12 ultrasonic deterrent with a 2.3-star rating, or the soffit gap that got caulked shut 4 times, or the 1,200 mosquitoes per hour that disappeared every summer night while Tom complained about the wrong thing. None of them remember being the thing in the walls, the thing in the dark, the thing that made people uncomfortable because it flew at night and hung upside down and had a face like a crumpled wallet. But they were always there, before the house, before the town, before the species that built both. 52 million years of flight in the dark, and they never once needed the light. They still don't. If you hear something in your attic tonight, that's 8 grams of evolutionary perfection eating the mosquitoes that would otherwise be eating you. You're welcome. Hit like if you will never call pest control again. Subscribe if you want to see what else has been hiding in your house, evolving quietly. And tell me in the comments what animal you want me to simulate next. See you in the next video.